And Johnny, let's move on. The last thing we are talking about today has to do with comments made in an interview with Variety from Kristen Stewart. And the question we're asking today, could Kristen Stewart, Twilight fame, it's going to be in the new Charlie's Angels movie, or is in the Charlie's Angels movie is what I should say. She made comments, and we're answering the question, could she be the first gay superhero, the first LGBT superhero that we see on the silver screens? And on the silver screen. Here's the little snippet from the article. In an interview with Variety to promote her upcoming film, Senberg, Stewart discussed a wide range of topics. Apart from the aforementioned comments, she conveyed that she didn't think that the roles she'd been offered had changed since coming out. The young star also revealed that she'd used Marvel as a reference point within the previous story due to it being literally just a big conglomerate-y type thing. With a laugh, Stewart then added, "I'm sure they would love to hire the gay kids to be superheroes." Senberg co-star and MCU stalwart Anthony Mackie was also present for the interview. When asked what superhero Stewart could play, the actress interjected with her own definitive answer, a gay one. So the thing we're talking about today, Johnny, is we've seen before DC beat Marvel to the punch on the female side of things, with Wonder Woman being the first, like, hey, this is a movie, superhero, and the female is the front and the lead superhero in that movie. And really it was her own. She was the only one. But then you had, on the other side, Captain Marvel, which was also the same thing, same side for MCU. But then also in the MCU, you had like Black Panther, who at the time, one of the first African superheroes that we have seen front and center, and being that his own entire movie. I think the only actors or actresses in that were not African or African American or anything like that were Andy Serkis and Bilbo.
Yeah.
Weren't they the only ones that were not African at all?
Basically.
Were Bilbo, I can't remember his name, that's why I'm saying Bilbo.
Exactly. That's
Bilbo and Gollum, basically, were the only ones. So we got not even real people to play those parts. We got a hobbit and a corrupt hobbit, because Gollum used to be a hobbit,
he
right?
He was something like a hobbit.
Because he was then corrupted by the ring, which, spoilers if you haven't seen it. At this point, spoilers if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
What's Lord of the Rings?
But yes, that's my point. And I was thinking Marvel, DC, anybody could really get on train with this, because I don't want it to seem like a marketing ploy, but it would be a big deal if it's like, hey, this is the first superhero that is openly gay. Because, like, there are some where it's like they could say, well, hey, this superhero's been gay. It's like, hey, wasn't openly gay. So they could do that. Marvel could do it. DC could do it. That's why I'm kind of leaving the door open for you. There is a couple that we could use, but before we get into who she could play, I just want to ask you the question and your thoughts. Could we see somebody like Kristen Stewart? It could be Kristen Stewart, it could be someone else, be the first openly gay superhero on the silver screen.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, we're getting close to the day and age where that's going to come around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean...
Do you think it'll be Marvel or DC that hits it first?
That's pretty much up for debate, because DC was the first one to do the first solo female film. Mm-hmm. But Marvel did the first black superhero. So...
Which I love the Wonder Woman one, only because of the story behind it, where I guess Kevin Feige went to Bob Iger in that and was like, hey, we got to do Captain Marvel. And they were like, I don't know how a female-led superhero movie is going to do. And then Wonder Woman happened, and Kevin Feige kind of looked at him and went,
there you go, guys.
See, this could have been us. We could have beat them to the punch, and we didn't. I think it's actually going to happen sooner rather
Yeah.
than later.
No, I agree.
It just depends on who.
You gotta find the right character is the problem. It's not about
Exactly.
getting an LGBT actor or actress or just getting the LGBT character. It's like, who do you have play it? Or which character do you go off of?
And I actually have one
Oh, shit.
that I think is going to be. Here's what I'm going to say. I have a character that I think Marvel can use, just to jump right into it.
Okay.
But I don't think Kristen Stewart fits the role. And that would be America Chavez. And the reason why I say America Chavez is, if you don't know who she is, she's Miss America in the Marvel comic world. And kind of her little background, I'll just read the beginning of it. America Chavez was raised by her mothers in the utopian parallel, a reality that is out of time and in the presence of the being known as the Demiurge. I hope I said that right. She appears to have inherited or absorbed some or all of her superpowers from the Demiurge ambient magical presence. When America was approximately 6 years old, the utopian parallel was threatened by destruction. America's mothers sacrificed themselves to seal the black holes, resulting in the particles being smeared across the multiverse itself. Wanting to prove herself as a hero and knowing utopia didn't require salvation, America ran away from her home and her responsibilities. She traveled across different realities, eventually adopted the moniker of Miss America, and began covertly acting as a superhero. And later on, it kind of goes on to where one of the groups that she had been in, and I want to say right here, after the events of Secret Wars, Chavez joins the newly formed Ultimates team after being invited by Blue Marvel. Chavez also attends Sotomayor University as a student, where she also shares a class with former Young Avengers teammate Prodigy. And I say teammate because she used to be in the Young Avengers, and if I'm mistaken, used to be the lead of that Young Avengers team. This is why I think she's the perfect, fit. Because Spider-Man's gone. If you were going to do Young Avengers, and you could still tell me I'm wrong with this, Spider-Man was in the Young Avengers, right?
No, I don't know.
If you were going to have Spider-Man be the lead of those Young Avengers, you need a new lead. Miss America could be your lead to the Young Avengers, and how you
Are you
build
talking
up.
about the Young Avengers or the thing that the group I've been talking about?
I'm talking about the Young Avengers from the
Okay.
comics. Stat check me there.
I'm looking for it right now. Go ahead and keep going.
Because I thought that he was, and my thought process with that is Marvel wants to do the Young Avengers. They've made a page for it. We talked about it in a different podcast. Go ahead, check that out. I'll have it pop up above our heads. And you may be thinking, but Ricky, we already have somebody with the America moniker. We already have Falcon with it. Well, one of two things could happen. Number one, he doesn't need to pass the moniker down, because it's not him passing the shield down to Miss America. That's the superhero she becomes, because her name's America Chavez. Or you can have it where she becomes her thing, becomes the leader of the Young Avengers, and then Anthony Mackie says, cool, you're here, I can go back to being Falcon. Because Falcon doesn't stay Captain America forever. I know is Bucky going to be Captain America one time, what they're going to do. But like that to me was one that I saw, and I'm like, hey, this could be your new lead to the Avengers with the Spider-Man departure. The only thing I question is I don't think Kristen Stewart is in that role, because what I fear is that although she's not human and she's from a utopian parallel, and really you can then say, hey, the utopian parallel is whatever we want, and she can look however she wants, because the character is America Chavez and obviously isn't a white character, I wonder what the backlash would be from the public, if any, if you whitewash that character and put Kristen
there might be
Stewart
a problem with that
at
part
the
of it.
head.
For the Young Avengers lineup, this is just one that I found real quick. Prodigy, which is David Lane.
Okay.
Hulkling, Wiccan, Patriot would be your Captain America type thing. Speed, Novar, Kate Bishop's Hawkeye, Loki, like Kid Loki, Iron Lad, Vision, and Cassandra Lang.
Okay, so Spider-Man would be the leader of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that kind of throws a wrench into this. But what do you think of America Chavez at all? Because I think she's interesting only because, yes, Anthony Mackie's Falcon is taking on the Captain America moniker.
For the Avengers.
Would it hurt to have two characters that kind of have the same, I'm going to say gimmick. I'm going to use a wrestling term, the same gimmick.
I mean, you could do it with the same gimmick. You can have that. But I mean, there's plenty of other characters out there too that, like, without like doubling up and going, well, where do we fit this person in? And this is not one that Kristen Stewart could play, and this is just one of a list of LGBT, and I always mess it up. The LGBT superheroes and villains actually is what I typed in. This, like I said, this wouldn't fit Kristen Stewart necessarily. Psylocke.
Okay.
Part of the XMen group.
I did not realize that. And we would...
Didn't know until I looked it up.
She'd be recasted anyways, right?
She would be recasted.
Because that was... what was her name? She fucking dated Aaron Rodgers. Oh, what was her name? Not even Longoria. That's the name that popped into my head. Fuck, what was her name from Apocalypse that played Psylocke? I'll look it up, but you keep going with your trend.
So, I mean, like I said, that would be one. But the question is... would she be able to, she wouldn't be able to play that one. So that wouldn't be like.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't see her like.
You just don't think she fits the character.
Yeah.
Like the look wise. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the last one we saw as Psylocke was. Oh shit, where is she? I know she was in Apocalypse. I know she was. It's going to kill me until
I mean, also the Marvel workout regimen does change people to fit the character better, though. So
Olivia Munn, that was her name.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah. You have the Marvel workout regimen. For me, Psylocke would actually be interesting because that's one that they could do. It just would be a couple years until they do it. Another X-Men one to keep the kind of train going with you is I thought of Karma. Who's a mutant.
That's when I saw it, yeah.
Mutant endowed with the ability to seize control of another's mind, though she has sometimes been depicted with other more intensive psionic abilities. And it says, and here's the reason why, yet again, is Kristen Stewart the right one for this role? The origin of the character relates to the Vietnam War, as she and her family were among the boat people fleeing the country shortly after the advent of communism and in the wake of violence. Her Vietnamese origin, and that right there, I look at and go, it's a Vietnamese character. Kristen Stewart is not Vietnamese or can't pull off Vietnamese. I would not cast you for that role. Like, that would be... Yeah. To me, if I casted Kristen Stewart for the Karma role, I know there's people out there that would be like, Ricky, you're being too sensitive. Get off your sensitive boat. It's okay. But, like, you think of the backlash that, like, Ghost in a Shell got when they were like, hey, this character's not white.
Whitewashing.
And you whitewashed it with Scarlett Johansson because you wanted to try to sell tickets. I get why they did that, because movie studios, the main goal is to do what? Make money. And if you think that a lesser-known actress isn't going to bring in the dollar bill, y'all, then you're going to kind of go away from it. I got one that I want to throw out your way, and this is on the DC side. I know we have her in TV form with Ruby Rose, but could you see DC going, hey, we're going to make a Batwoman movie, and we're going to use Kristen Stewart as our Cassandra Cain and our Batwoman on the silver screen, because many times the people they use for TV, they don't use on the silver screen. Could you see DC doing that, but not even that? It's the step back of, would they even make a Batwoman movie because they have the Batwoman CW
Yeah, that'd be a question.
series?
I don't know if they're going to make a movie for her because they have the series, because they tend not to do that, like, double up like that.
Because the only,
so far.
the
Except
only,
maybe
well, the only one is, I believe they're still looking to make the Supergirl movie.
okay.
They're still looking to make a Supergirl movie, which, looking at here, recent stories, one from May was that it aims to shoot in early 2020, question mark. But like, yeah, so Screen Rants, it's targeting 2020 start of production.
So eventually there will be like 2 double ups where it would be, one will be Supergirl, but the other one would be eventually The Flash. Would be a double up.
What do you mean? Like the movie? Oh, yeah, the movies.
There'll be a movie.
Because we have a TV version and a movie version of The
exactly.
Flash.
So there's another double up. But I mean, aside from the point, I mean, I could see it happening, like having her play the role. It all comes down to, I don't know if DC's gonna do that unless they have like the only reason we have it with the Flash is you can't have the Justice League without the Flash. Exactly. The one thing I'm thinking about is, will they actually go ahead and do that? And the most I could say is, I don't know if they would do enough to have because they have the TV series, I don't know if they would go ahead and make a you said Batwoman, right? Or Batgirl. Batwoman. Batwoman movie. I could see them throwing her into a Batman movie, though, if they decide to do that. Like, go the route of the Bat family.
Yeah. Like
if they wanted to introduce her and
the Batverse movies. Ooh. Throw verse behind anything. It sounds cool. Ooh. That's a knock at you, Sony.
I got another one, though.
Go ahead.
So, what are we waiting on James Gunn for?
Guardians.
Yes.
Suicide Squad.
For him to finish that, so we can do Guardians.
Okay, I didn't know which way you were going.
Sorry. We're waiting for him to finish Suicide
Obviously,
Squad.
Johnny, Marvel, Johnny. It's got to be Marvel.
Yeah, shut the fuck up on your DC stuff. There's a member that is part of the Guardians of the Galaxy that has not been introduced, which would be Moondragon.
Ooh, Tell me a little bit about Moondragon.
Moondragon first appeared. That's not where I want to be at. Moondragon, Heather Douglas, is a fictional character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. A powerful telepath, master martial artist, minor kinetic, and highly skilled geneticist. Moondragon's most notable characteristics are her shaved head and achieving excellence in virtually. Anyways, LGBTQ. She's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me click that part to get down there. Powers and abilities. After her resurrection, Moondragon joins Fala back at nowhere and is accepted as an unofficial member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. She assists Cosmo, the dog that we saw in the Collectors.
With the space suit on.
Yeah. And Mantis as part of the telepathic support team. So they could introduce her into the Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's probably the first one we've thrown out that I can actually see.
Like full on. And
also it makes her a badass.
It does.
She could be like the Gamora, because if we look at a new lineup, she could be like the Gamora type. The badass. I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, you saw
I pulled
picture?
It up. I saw her last night and didn't put it down because I didn't look into it. I thought she was a villain off the top of my head.
I mean, if she wants to play superheroes, is that why you avoided villains?
I was going to throw out a villain next.
Oh, okay.
Because I was going to ask it. So the question I was going to ask is, do you think Kristen Stewart, I know it was all superhero, do you think she'd be opposed if, let's say, DC or Marvel came up to her and said, hey, we've got an openly gay part for you, but it's a villain, not a superhero?
I would say she might accept it. Depends on how
staunch she's like, no, I want to be a hero. Because another one I was looking at is on the villain side, and this is DC, Knockout. And Knockout, her origins, is former female Fury from Apocalypse. Appeared shortly after Superboy moved to Hawaii. Using her super strength, she fought and flirted with Superboy just for the fun of it. Her hidden identity was that of a super strong stripper who worked at a club called the Boom Boom Room. Later, she was recruited, and this is where I think she could tie in to DC movies. Later, she was recruited by Amanda Waller's Suicide Squad for an attack against the international crime cartel, the Silicon Dragons. She joined Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Sidearm, and King Shark on the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad had to overcome betrayal and overwhelming enemies, and in the end, Knockout was supposedly killed when the squad left her and King Shark in the exploding base. That's where I think, because I don't think they're going to do a Superboy movie.
Yeah.
But if they do a Suicide Squad 3, they could open up Knockout and they could say,
That's
hey,
true.
Kristen Stewart, you said you wanted to play an openly gay character. How would you be? Because this would be kind of towing that line of like, I know you said superhero, but this is a villain who's kind of the hero. Because the Suicide Squad toes that line of like, oh, they're villains, but they're good guys, ? We're having them do good things. So like that's one that I wanted to throw out there of Knockout, who the only thing I think is just totally stupid, off the wall, just comic booky, is that her secret identity is a stripper, and she's a stripper at the Boom Boom Room.
You never know. They might actually want to go that part of it.
Hey, man, if you go rated R, you got to go in that direction. Are there any others that you think we missed?
Not a lot I'm getting. I mean, there's... trying to see who this Phil Lavelle is, because I've seen her, but I really don't know anything about her. Trying to see what she was part of. Something that ties into Guardians of the Galaxy. But I don't know if she's a villain or not. She looks like a villain.
I was going to throw one more out there, but...
Go ahead.
It's not going to happen. The reason why is because, so this is a character that's already being portrayed, but it's in
Portrayed.
The Runaways. I don't know how much The Runaways connects to the MCU, though. Does it connect an awful lot?
I didn't watch The Runaways, actually.
Because it's Carolina Dean, who is an extraterrestrial in the group, except for a short period of time when her Skrull fiance becomes part of the team. The only reason why I was like, maybe they won't do that is, I mean, if they bring Carolina Dean to the silver screen, maybe they recast her. But right now, she's casted by Virginia Gardner in the Hulu television series Runaways, which is set in the MCU. This version of the character is half human and half Gaborium. Is half Gaborium. Which I don't know what that is. It's apparently something from the Runaways. I never read the Runaways, but you got nothing else? Any more that you want to throw out?
Like I said, I mean, I guess if you wanted to, another one that ties in with the Guardians, which I didn't know about till I just looked it up, was Phil Lavelle. She ties in with Captain Marvel too, like the actual Captain Marvel, not the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel.
You're talking about the
Captain Marvel.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what her
The
powers are.
The Jude Law version? No, he wasn't. He was Conrad.
Yeah, the powers and abilities. Here we go. Phila was
Rog.
Phila has superhuman strength. She can fire energy, blast, and fly. She also acts like an energy sponge, absorbing any energy attacks directed at her and returning them as energy blast. She has cosmic awareness and is proficient fighter. But I guess there's a storyline or a few where she joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. So again, another one where Marvel wanted to work more so into their universe. So that's the way to do it too. Adding more characters to the Guardians of the Galaxy is a perfect way to do it.
So what we've come up with is a conclusion is she's either going to be a Guardian of the Galaxy or a Suicide Squad.
Yeah. As of now, I mean, because there's a few where it's like she can't because of the worry of whitewashing, because that's a backlash.
It is.
Yeah,
and Marvel don't want no backlash.
Some of you guys will say, well, that's not the big deal. Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to making a movie, exactly.
Making that dollar bill, y'all.
You piss off people going, well, why is the character white when she's supposed to be this in the comics?
do not want a hashtag to start of boycott MCU
Exactly.
or boycott DC.
So they're going to follow how the character's supposed to be as best they can.
So this is where you
Obviously
guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section.
Sure.
First off, two questions. Part A, how long do you think it is? I didn't even ask you this question, but I'll ask them. How long do you think it is until we see a first openly gay superhero or comic book character? Could be on the female side. There are a ton on the male side that they could do. We just talked female side because of Kristen Stewart, and obviously I'd assume they never play female
just throwing
characters.
out there Wiccan and Hulkling,
which both of them I'm assuming coming to the MCU very soon.
Yeah.
In an MCU by you very soon, right? Would that be the catchline? I'm like, hey, coming to a Target near you, coming to an MCU near you.
Sure. Why not?
Basically, Young Avengers, they want to do it. But let us know, how long do you think it takes for us to get that? And number two, if Kristen Stewart was going to be that character, who would she be? DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, anybody. Really, it could be any superhero production that you think. Maybe there's one in the Spider-Man universe that we missed, and she could be claimed by Sony instead of Disney and DC. Let us know what you guys think down below. Make sure to, I think maybe Jessica Drew is
she
bisexual.
Might be. I thought she was.
Maybe. Check out patreon.com/mostvaluedpodcast to support us. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at WarMachine9085, at Ricky Widmer, at Most Valuable Pod. And also, I am one last time going to have Johnny promote his Instagram.
Thor_Odinson90.
So go ahead, follow Johnny for some cool pictures, and if you like cosplay and all that shit. Want to thank you guys for watching it's cool shit. It's not like, oh man, that shit. It's like, oh man, check this shit out, man. This is some good shit. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for checking out the podcast, and as always, have a good day, everybody.